A little girl left home with a racket and a dream so fragile it could have disappeared in one bad year. This week, that dream didn't just survive. It exploded into history. And before this video ends, I'm going to show you the one number that matters more than the trophy, more than the headlines, and even more than the money. Because what Alexandra Eala just did in Washington may have changed the future of Philippine tennis forever. And if you believe stories like this deserve a permanent place on your screen, subscribe right now. Not for hype, not for noise, but because moments like this are rare, and the next chapter of her rise could be even bigger than the one the world just watched. Everybody saw the same headline first, $252,000. That was the champion's check at the 2026 Washington WTA 500. The runner-up received $155,000. Those numbers are real. They are huge. They are life-changing. But they are still not the biggest story. The bigger story is this. After winning Washington, Alexandra Eala jumped 8 places to a career-high number 20 in the PIF WTA rankings, becoming the first Filipina to reach the top 20. At 21 years old, she now owns her first WTA singles title and the highest ranking of her career. WTA Rankings WTA Profile Washington Final Preview. Now hold those numbers in your head, because the contrast is what makes this story hit harder. The official WTA profile lists Chiang Rai $25,000 in 2022 as the site of Eala's first ITF title. Not a glamorous stage. Not a global headline. Just one more step in a difficult road. Then, in 2023, she played her first Grand Slam qualifying event at the Australian Open and lost in the opening round of qualifying. In 2024, she reached a career high of number 143. That sounds ordinary only if you don't understand tennis. Number 143 in the world means you are already elite. But in this sport, elite does not always mean secure. WTA profile. That is why Alexandra Eala's story has always been bigger than one match. Tennis is brutally unforgiving when you are still climbing. Rankings matter. Draws matter. Travel matters. Momentum matters. One breakthrough can launch you, and one quiet stretch can drag you backward because ranking points don't last forever. So when people reduce this week to she won a tournament, they miss the real drama. This was not just a title run. This was pressure, timing, proof, and payoff all colliding at once. And here is where the story really turns. At the start of 2025, Eala was ranked number 147 in the world. Then came Miami. Entering that WTA 1000 event as a wild card, the 19-year-old produced the run that forced the entire tennis world to pay attention. She beat Elina Ostapenko, then Madison Keys, then IGA Swiatek to reach the semifinals. The WTA called it a history-making breakout. She became the first player from the Philippines to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal and was guaranteed to become the first Filipina to enter the top 100. That week alone, she defeated 3 Grand Slam champions. If you followed her since Miami, tell me in the comments. Was that the moment you knew she was real, or did it take longer for you to believe? WTA Miami report. WTA Top 50 report, because that is the cruel beauty of sports. One miracle run gets you noticed. 2 great months get you respected. But only sustained results get you accepted. And Eala kept stacking proof. Her official WTA profile says she reached her first tour-level final in Eastbourne in 2025, won the Guadalajara WTA 125 later that year, and finished 2025 with a career-high year-end ranking of number 50. Then, in 2026, she added another WTA 125 title in Birmingham. This wasn't one lucky fortnight anymore. This was a real climb, happening in public, against better and better opponents. WTA profile, and just when people started adjusting to the idea that Alexandra Eala belonged, she delivered another statement. At Wimbledon 2026, she defeated IGA Swiatek 7-6, 9, 6-2 in the round of 32. Read that score again. That was not survival. That was composure under the brightest lights in the sport. The names were no longer surprising. The pattern was big stage, big opponent. Eala still standing at the end. WTA Wimbledon score. So by the time Washington arrived, the question was no longer whether she had talent. The question was whether she was ready to turn all of that promise into a true tour-level title. And Washington did not hand her an easy road. It handed her a gauntlet. According to the WTA, Eala entered the tournament ranked number 28. In the first round, she beat Zheng Qinwen. In the second, she beat defending champion Leylah Fernandez. In the quarterfinals, she beat Elina Svitolina. In the semifinals, she beat Naomi Osaka. Then in the final, she faced world number 3 Jessica Pegula. After rain delayed the match, Eala came back and won the title 4-6, 6-4, 6-0. The WTA called it one of the toughest paths to a trophy in recent memory and noted that she defeated the tournament's top 3 seeds on the way to the title. That is not just a win. That is a statement so loud the rest of the tour has no choice but to hear it. Washington Final Preview WTA Rankings Washington Final Score, and here is the detail that makes it even bigger. After Washington, the WTA said her victories over Zheng and Pegula brought her total of top 10 wins this season to 7, tied with Elina Svitolina and Elena Rybakina. Think about the company that puts her in. This is no longer a nice story. This is a dangerous player becoming a serious force on the tour. WTA rankings. Now let's talk about the number that matters most. Not the money. Not even the trophy. The number is 20. Top 20 is where a breakthrough stops being a rumor and starts becoming a career identity. Top 20 means your name is no longer a surprise on a draw sheet. Top 20 means the sport has to treat you differently. Top 20 means every opponent now prepares for you like you are a real threat because you are. And that is where the suspense begins, not where it ends. Because there is a hidden twist in every breakthrough season. Once you rise high enough, the chase changes direction. Up until now, Alexandra Eala was the hunter. She was the player taking swings at bigger names, freer, hungrier, often underestimated. That version of her was dangerous because she could attack without carrying the full weight of expectation. But now she walks into tournaments with history on her shoulders, a top 20 ranking next to her name, and a title everybody on tour has already seen. That changes everything. And I want you to think about how fast this happened. From number 147 at the start of 2025 to top 100 after Miami to year-end number 50 in 2025 to number 20 after Washington in 2026. That is not a normal climb. That is a rise built on real wins over elite players. And the names matter. Ostapenko, Keys, Swiatek, Zheng, Svitolina, Osaka, Pegula. These are not random draws. These are statement victories against players who know how to win on the biggest stages. WTA Top 50 Report, WTA Miami Report, WTA Rankings, and that is why this Washington title feels different from an ordinary breakthrough. It completed a story arc that had been building for months. Miami made people curious. Eastbourne made people cautious. Guadalajara and Birmingham made the progress measurable. Wimbledon made the danger obvious. Washington made it official. She is not coming. She is here. But here is the part casual fans still underestimate. Tennis never lets you keep a miracle for free. Every big result creates a new standard. Every ranking jump creates new pressure. Every title creates film for opponents to study, patterns to target, and expectations to survive. The joy of arriving is real, but so is the burden that comes after arrival. That is why the next stretch matters so much. Can she carry this level when she is no longer overlooked? Can she win when the crowd expects it? Can she handle the pressure of becoming the player everyone circles before the draw is even released? That is the next test. And that test is what makes this story impossible to ignore. Because for the Philippines, this is bigger than one athlete cashing a champion's check. This is proof. Proof that a Filipina can rise into the elite tier of women's tennis. Proof that the barriers people assumed were permanent are not permanent at all. Proof that the sport now has a name from the Philippines that belongs in the same weekly conversations as the players it used to only admire from a distance. And that matters. It matters to every young player who now sees a path where there used to be only hope. It matters to every family making sacrifices nobody on the outside will ever fully understand. It matters to every fan who stayed awake for the strange hours, defended her before the headlines caught up, and kept believing while the rest of the world was still asking who she was. So let me ask you something. What was your moment? Was it Miami, when she shocked Swiatek and announced herself to the world? Was it Eastbourne, when she proved she could go deep on tour? Was it Wimbledon, when she beat Swiatek again on grass? Or was it Washington, when she finally lifted the title that turned momentum into history? Tell me your answer in the comments, because I honestly think every fan has a different moment where belief stopped being cautious and became absolute. And now we come back to the beginning. A little girl left home with a racket and a dream. For years, all the story really had was possibility. Then came Miami. Then more proof. Then bigger wins. Then Washington. And now the record books say what the believers were already starting to feel. Alexandra Eala is not just rising through tennis. She is rewriting what Filipino tennis can look like at the highest level. The check was $252,000. The title was her first WTA singles crown. The ranking is number 20. But the real reward might be something even bigger. From this point on, nobody can call this impossible anymore. And that is why this story is only getting started. If you want me to keep covering every step of Alexandra Eala's rise, subscribe now, because the next tournaments won't just test her tennis. They'll test whether this breakthrough was the beginning of a long reign, or just the first chapter of an even wilder story. Either way, the world is watching now, and something tells me Alexandra Eala is just getting warmed up.